What do we say? What can we say? Having someone completely lose hope in the world and themselves, that their soul be tainted, and so visually as well. If there's an actual way back from, losing it all and turning yourself into a witch, cool. But if not, we're in for a fun time. Especially with a little bit of sideline behind the a few words that were muttered in the last episode. The fact you've got a character that can manipulate time. Does that mean this isn't the only option they've got? Try again. Maybe it'll get better. But still, the greatest foe of all. Kyubey out there transforming lives into magical girls for the benefit of everyone? I mean, in his eyes, yeah, sure. Don't have a fragile human body. I can see that as an absolute win. But I want to see more of Madoka Magica. Hopefully you do as well. So grab a drink, sit down, and let's begin. The fact that this... people can just give up so easily, sure, having the very knowledge of a soul be known and that it's been torn out of your body without your kind of acknowledgement. Terrifying. Overhearing words on a train from dregs of society. What are you fighting for? But makes sense that there's a bunch of music notes and music sheets and the like just floating around. What indeed? Yep, just drop a stun grenade and back off. I don't understand the trains, though. But now that they are in this frozen realm, I mean, what you're holding right now is just the shell. Is there anything that they can actually do from here on out, knowing that Homura has a bit more knowledge about what's going on? Yeah, I do like the extra art style and animations and everything. I do like the silhouetting of things and the kind of emotional impact just in the art itself. But now that, we've had Madoka throw away the very life force, the essence of her friend, I've forgotten the name of the twirly hair character. But have them die in front of her eyes. Have the knowledge of everything just kind of right in front of her, and she's still, at this point, just a civilian. This isn't something that she can just look away from anymore, is it? Not that she was actively trying to in the first place. But it is one thing with this character as a whole, she is kind of a reactionary protagonist. She doesn't make bold choices in of herself. Much like the audience, meaning us, knows very little about this world. I know better places to go for a stroll, but sure. Why, oh why, is she here? That was a face of like she's only just come to terms with that as well. Lose yourself, become a witch, get hunted by others that are brought into the game of magical girls, and whatnot by Cube. Saw the lighting and whatnot come from the train on its approach, and it was nice. Anyone going to question why there's a bunch of schoolgirls just next to the tracks? Huh. So if you make a relatively light wish, I hope it's sunny tomorrow. I wish it's that kind of thing. Then the actual fallback on yourself isn't too grand. Probably someone who's gone through this an awful lot. Hence why she was kind of separated out from feelings before. Dispose of it carefully. If you like called an ambulance or something, what would be the official cause of death for this? Because I don't think loss of oneself and soul is really an official measure. Are you a vampire? There's nothing wrong enough to require correction. So yes, essentially in more fanciful words. We? Who's we? Wait, now you've got into the lifespan of the universe? Huh? Yes, the energy equals out to zero and whatnot, but are they actually talking about the heat death of the universe and the way that the only way to avoid that, or at least extend it, is magical girls? So they are universal batteries. That's what their use. Can you not think of better ways to go about it? I mean, I can think of a few that doesn't require like death and destruction and the like. It was perfect. So you just siphon some of that out. How much experimentation was needed to go through in order to come to that understanding, though, for them? I would like to see like other age groups and whatnot try to become these kind of magical saviors of the universe. And how many they've tried this with until reaching Earth. So at the minute, it's just intelligent life forms that are playing with ants. Powerful battery ants, but ants nonetheless. And is that what is meant by she has more... Mammy. She has more to give than anyone ever previous. Because of her emotional responses to pretty much everything. But if you laid it all out, because it's under false pretenses. The fact that it is, yeah, because they are so far apart from human understanding, contracts and the like don't really hold much sway, do they? So what's one every now and again? The fact that it is so... Just thinking about things quite matter-of-factly. It's just... It's kind of troubling how easily you could slip into the same kind of fault lines as Kyubey and the whatever else is out there. There's so many of you, 1 and 2, to save the universe, you know, for the greater good. Just attach emotional reasoning to those that are being sacrificed. It's not exactly like that's not gone on before in our history. No, sacrifice is just for a better harvest. She now... Good... I was about to say, good question. Maybe Kyubey would actually know something. Wouldn't it be prudent of him to understand how to come back from the witches? Wouldn't that mean more energy? One that doesn't get wasted on the whole, you know, losing yourself to grief and all that. Having a very hearty meal. Oh, she won. And it's not like Sayaka died in the other world. So there is still something to bury and grieve over. Some essence of herself still in this world that people can even see, unlike Mami and the others. She doesn't feel too well. Yeah. Suddenly just... Yeah, you're going to have to explain it to the teacher. Suddenly just has a very ill feeling in her stomach. That is a good change of kind of architecture style and like... Well, of course she does, but how is the main question. I wonder if the wind chimes in the front actually have anything. Okay. Fair. Compared to like her usual kind of brash attitude and the like, now it's actually being used for this. This is all conjecture, by the way. It can easily end with all of us dying. I mean, if it does, success. If it doesn't, we die. It's win-win, really. Huh. I mean, if life was so kind as to be a fairy tale, she'd give her back a sense of herself, nice, as maybe owes a little bit to her. But I would say it's also a bit of self-preservation. If they can find a way to reject the witch side, the delusions of the soul, they can save themselves from such a fate. I don't think that's a handshake, but sure. So many missing students. This is odd of her, but didn't even wait for a response. He's just out of there. It's fine. I can go myself. I got some dango. I mean, assuming the worst, she wouldn't do something like that, but at the same point, there is something behind her actions which wouldn't keep her away from this. And any particular reason why a motherload of witches is all drawn together and to come crashing down the city on a particular night? Is it just one of those things which adds a little bit of tension? The gateway to... She didn't even finish properly. She's still got another skewer to go. Or what's left of her. I really do love the kind of Shaft style of how it does the environment and everything. Just like scaffolding and ironworks everywhere. Is it something you want to get used to though? But the whole slicing an entrance into this world, but I mean she battles it in her own way. There's cowardice, but a coward wouldn't come into these places without the power to fight back. Huh. True, she had nothing left. Her family were dead. Everyone hated like the family name and the like. She actually has something to live for. Moronic is probably a good word for it. Yeah, throwing away a perfectly decent life for a idealism that you know is tainted. Any particular reason why we're getting multiple of the same posters around? It's like a Willy Wonka Hell House in here, playing memories on the big screen. That's cool. An orchestra. I know she did what she can to save someone that loved music and the like, but to have a fight in a theater like this. I think you're gonna have to, yeah, call a bit louder than that. He's really neat. I like the kind of. It reminds me of when I was playing things like Persona. It gives off that kind of fantastical element, which is also grounded in reality and emotions of others. Well, let's hope this is nothing, yeah. She doesn't keep receiving damage to the soul. But the fact that music itself is kind of. Ooh. The fact it got muted there. A bit true. A bit of a victory in a sense on that aspect. True, her very ideas of why she became a magical girl, the sense of justice and the like being torn asunder. What a coward, jumping into the clutches of death like that. Does she retain the power of healing while becoming a witch like this? Are we getting an encore? Ah, there's the mermaid that was in the charm, in the wind chime. Sorry, where's the unicorn? Now she's given up on the. Why does everyone want to put up a wall to go in and be the only focus? I mean, she gave up on the idea of getting Sayaka back after that attack. I do not like the. I like that though, but I do not like the fact this is going to be like a Hail Mary at her expense. She broke her own soul in order to take them both down. I guess, yeah, she owed herself to her there. She's got no one to worry about her, after the fact, so she can't just disappear. We've answered the question a little bit as no, there wasn't a way to. Do you have a different? Okay. Would anything that they would have said served an important... You have to get some help. That was the purpose. Underhanded bastard. But the fact that she tossed herself away to be able to stop her in her tracks, to retain what was left of Sayaka and her wish to be a sword of justice kind of thing. But if the witch represents, their inner image of themselves and the wish that they went all in for, what about the others that we've seen so far? What about the plant-based tree witch? What could have been that wish? But for so many of the characters to just go down, so like Mami obviously just immediately, Sayaka and Kyoko as well. With the amount of episodes left, well, that's an interesting art style. Is Homer actually going to be able to do anything about it, or is this now going to be a much more intense dependency on Madoka? What the actual hell did I witness in this episode? Obviously, we had the very much grounded and down-to-earth feelings of, what it means to be oneself and being jaded with the world. But now we've got the outer universe itself in turmoil, and the only way to power it is with pint-sized batteries that are still attending school. I could probably think of one or two better ways to go about it than forcing them into a magical girl disillusionment and eventually losing themselves to become an issue. There is probably going to be some energy trade-off going about it this route rather than, the sane, logical way of making them an actual battery. Surely, if you've got the technology or power or whatever to transform someone into a magical girl and give them these untold wishes and make things become physically capable where, it's against the laws of the universe itself, there's got to be a better way. Maybe, give it to them straight, and those that don't really have much left in their life, like Kyoko or whatever, will actively submit themselves and go, you know what, sure, put me in like this sensory deprivation pod and just siphon away all of the emotions, use that to stave off the death of the universe itself, rather than let's create the very thing that we're trying to destroy, which can go horribly out of control. Especially when it seems a little confusing and odd as to when and what powers people can actually obtain if they were to make this magical girl contract. But we just gotta wait for the best transfer rate possible for Madoka to sign on board, stave off the death of everything for another million years. Yeah, I don't actually know the conversion rate, because in timescales of the universe, I don't think the energy that a magical girl gives, gets another week of universal life. That's awesome. Although, being said, 6.9 billion people, one or two of them just goes a little haywire. Maybe a week in universal life is a good trade-off. What's a life worth on a universal scale? Don't think about that. It'll probably lead to some very dangerous and existential places. And I think that, you know, we're still trying to have just a high school life in the middle of it all. Just people try to attend classes where you've got questions of a, much more than a galactic scale just hanging above their heads. I really didn't expect Madoka to go there, you know. Fantasy and magic, that's one thing. Entropy and thermal dynamics, not really in the remit of magical girl stuff, usually. But hey, trying to tie it all into science in some manner of respect. Go for it. Madoka, as each episode goes by, you know, I get into a comfortable rhythm of thinking I know where all of this is, and possibly where the depths are going to go. Just for, you know, my comfortable rug to be pulled away from me and just exposed to a lake of injustice and despair. I kind of like that you've got Kyubey is this non-human entity that doesn't understand base concepts of emotion and attachment and why people would be upset about, I'm not sure about outright lies, but at least being a bit disingenuous. Sure, we've had these kind of mascots and little critters and whatnot already that are a little dubious. But Madoka has really turned that up to about 78. But for so many characters just to be felled by episode 9, we've had 5 characters that, well, 5 magical girls, or magical girl adjacent characters, and 3 of them are out already. Mami, Sayaka, and Kyoko, and then, well, you just got Homura of a time, wibbly wobbly stuff, could do some funky time portal timeline shenanigans, and Madoka, who's just kind of still struggling with the whole aspect of it all, and if or not she should be involved. Oh, next episode is going to be fun. If you've enjoyed this one and my distress, let me know. Leave a like and a comment down below. Consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out future uploads. And of course, check the description for links to the Discord, where new shows and whatnot can be voted for, can be, well, mentioned to me, and maybe get to them sooner than later. But definitely to take care of yourself. So I can see you in the next one. Before the inevitable heat death of the universe and everything we hold dear to become naught but dust, we can just sit down and watch an anime and ignore inevitability of everything. So, to HSDR, Darky26, Guado, Kite, Reds Racer, Ultra Boring, Wolfie Sensei, Zcat, Zug, and everyone else, I really do appreciate everything you've done for me and the channel, because without you, my soul would have been corrupted a long time ago.